What do you need to know about OREA Form 960? This is the Schedule A that goes with your listing agreement when you are a seller listing a home. My name is Nick Funditis, and today in this video we'll explain this form. Hey there, Nick Funditis from Royal LePage Performance Realty here, and I'm with the Nick Funditis team. I'm the lead agent there, and this is part of our series of videos where we explain the different forms that you use to list or sell a home in Ontario. We think that it's important that you understand these forms because this is a big transaction for most people, and there are a lot of little things that can make a big difference as to whether it's a good move or a bad move. You don't want to run into any pitfalls on these. So let's go through it bit by bit. So this is the Schedule A that goes with a listing agreement. So when you list a home or a condo, you're going to use this form as well. And at the top, it simply identifies the brokerage and the seller. So in this case, Royal LePage Performance Realty and Mark and Mary Messier in our example. They're selling their house at 628 Gaines Drive in Ottawa, and it's going to start on the 10th day of August. Now, this is a very straightforward form. It just is a data collection form, basically. But first of all, there is a legal description of the property, and you don't need to have that handy. Your realtor can find that through city records. And then same with the PIN number and the roll number. If you have them off of your tax information, that's great if you can share them with your realtor, but we can easily find those as well. And then there's property taxes. So in this case, the property taxes for Mark and Mary were about $4,600 in 2022, and we put that on the MLS so that the buyer understands. Is HST applicable to the sale or lease? In this case, it's no. It's a resale property. HST is nearly never applicable on a resale property in Ontario. There would be very, very specific, unusual situations where it may be the case, but the answer is no, basically. Listing terms or conditions. So if there were something unusual about the sale, for example, that this listing had to be sold along with another PIN number to make it valid, we would put that kind of stuff in here. Existing financing. Well, we only include this when a property is being sold with financing. So say in times of rising interest rates, if a seller has a really good mortgage rate, so say like 2% or something, and prevailing rates are at 5 or 6 or 7 or what have you, they can sell the financing with the property to make it a better deal for the buyers. So this is where we might put that information so that it can be marketed on the MLS. Possession is when the seller wants the property to be taken over. In this case, they've simply said to be determined. They have an idea of when they'd like, but they're flexible for the right offer. There's chattels included. A chattel is anything that if you took the house, turned it upside down, gave it a little bit of a shake, that might fall out. Now, legally, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's a good rule of thumb for thinking of it. So in this case, we've said that the fridge, stove, dishwasher, washer, dryer, garage door opener, remotes, and all the light fixtures and window coverings are included, except for the fixture excluded, that's the next bit, is the chandelier in the dining room. It's nice, and Mark and Mary want to keep it. Then there are leases. Leases do not refer to tenants. They refer to any bits of equipment or things that are attached to the house that are rented. So in this case, Mark and Mary rent their hot water tank like most people in Ottawa seem to do. They pay $23.50 a month, and then they pay that monthly, and it costs $250 to buy it out, and then they'd have to buy another hot water tank. So a buyer would assume that rental when they buy the house, unless they have instructed in the offer for Mark and Mary to buy it out. This is not a condo, so down where it says Condo Association, there are no fees there. There's no specific parking spot. The parking spot is the driveway of this house. We put all that information in if we're selling a condominium, but again, it's pretty straightforward. Page 2 is all about the lockbox. And so when we list a home, typically a realtor is going to put a lockbox on the front of the home somewhere, or on a certain space in your condo that's going to hold a key for the house or fobs or whatever you need to gain access. And then when other realtors come along to show the house, we give them the code so that they can open the lockbox, get the key, and go show the house. So lockbox disclosures regarding access and risk. So lockbox is designed to hold keys to the property and explains how it works. Some lockboxes are electronic and used with electronic key. That's what my team mostly uses. They're big blue things called iBoxes. A lockbox is just designed to withstand forcible entry. However, it's not, it's not impervious. So it's not a security system, is what they're saying. And C, letter D there says the listing brokerage, cooperating brokerages are not insurers against injury, theft, loss, and vandalism, say when a lockbox is breached. So make sure that the lockbox is being put in a sensible place on the property and that it's being checked to make sure that it's not being broken into. E says the listing brokerage recommends that the sellers and, if applicable, the tenants take all possible precautions and safeguards to protect themselves. So it also means that other people are going to have access to your property. So keep valuables hidden away during showings. Even if another realtor is showing, it's just smart to tuck that stuff out of the way. F, if a property is tenant occupied, permission may be required to access the property. And then the listing brokerage recommends, this is G, recommends that the seller and, if applicable, the tenant check with their insurance provider to make sure that the use of a lockbox does not negatively impact their current policy. There you go. Number 2, seller permission for use of a lockbox. So we check these. It says, we, the seller, hereby authorize Royal LePage Performance Realty to install a lockbox in whatever location makes sense on the property. And there's a spot for me to sign. Then there's a spot for the sellers to sign and the date. And that is the whole form. That is an easy one. This has to go with a listing agreement in Ontario. If you have any questions about this one, let me know. You can reach me at nick@nickfunditis.ca or get any of my contact details at nickfunditis.ca. The team and I love hearing from you. If you have questions, we think that there are no bad questions, and we think that an educated homeowner and home buyer makes for the fairest, best, home sale transactions, and we think that that's a good thing. Hope that you enjoyed this video, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next one. Bye for now.